Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome to the studio this evening where we're going to be painting that guy over there, the pirate penguin. I'm so excited to paint this. I've been waiting for this. I'm happy that you all are here with me. Like I said, I'm excited to paint this. All right, getting a few things out of the way. First of all, I've got some nice paper here. I believe this is Arches paper. You can see the nice dimples in there. 140-pound paper. My brushes, my paint over that I just got on my finger. My paints over here. To my right-hand side are my M-gram paints. And quite honestly, it looks like they're a little crooked. I bumped them. That's straightened them out just a little bit. There we are. And the paintbrushes that I'm going to be using this evening are going to be my King Art paintbrushes. Let me see if I got one that's got a logo on it so you can see it. Maybe I've got one that's got a logo on it. Or not. Here we go. There's one. You can see that. There you go. These are the 90-20 series of brushes. And I don't know where did my other brushes go? I've got a few of them here, I know. I can't find them. Doesn't matter. I'm going to jump in with this guy. And I think what I'm going to do first on this one, and you guys let me know if you do this or you don't do this. And I do this from time to time, but really not all that often. I'm going to start by painting some shadows. And hopefully I can get a little bit of dimension on this guy. And I'm going to start by saying this. Just like the reference photo up there, our source of light is going to come in from this side, which means, you know, this part of his body is going to be lighter, and this part of his body is going to be in a bit darker shadow. And I'm starting with the shadows so I can paint right over top of what's going to be black if I want to, right? He's a penguin. A lot of this guy is black. We can go right over top of that. It shouldn't matter at all. Because that black will be much darker when we get to that. But I want to get some color on him and get him started. And I'm just using a mix of neutral tint. It's mostly neutral tint, to tell you the truth. I think there's a little bit of Payne's gray in here, but it is mostly neutral tint. There might be a bit of sepia in there as well. My well on this side, the one I'm using down here at the bottom, has all my, I guess I call them my neutrals down there. Payne's gray, sepia, and neutral tint. They're all down there, and if I need something that's kind of a middling color, one of those three is going to have that for me. Let's see. We got a few people joining in. Feel free to say hello. I'm going to talk while I paint, and I'm just going to let you know that if you join in and say hello, there's a chance that we're going to talk about whatever it is you like to talk about rather than what it is I like to talk about. So I always encourage people to jump in and say hello. JC is here. Tom Travers is here. Welcome all. Thank you for joining. So great to see you guys. I'm glad you could join this evening, and I just want to say a big thank you for joining, because I say this from time to time, and I'm not sure people really believe me, but this Wednesday live stream really makes me happy. I enjoy this so much. It's a fantastic diversion after usually what is a couple of hard days at work. Not that my work is all that hard, but you know, some days the work seems long, and doing this live stream always is a fantastic thing. So thank you for joining and stopping in. I'm going to keep going. Again, this is mostly neutral tint and maybe a little bit of Payne's Gray in there. There might be a little bit of sepia in there. I did put just a touch of yellow ochre in here to kind of warm up the underside here. I'll probably go back and put a little bit on his body to warm bits of his body up too. I don't want it to get too cold, right? The Payne's Gray is a bit of a cooler color. Definitely, it's got that bluish tint to it. It's a gray with a blue tint to it. The neutral tint that you see mostly here is a kind of a purplish color, so you could say, well, that might be a little bit warmer, and I might tend to agree with some of that, but it also, you know, purple is not, strictly speaking, a warm color. It's towards the gray, so we think of it as a bit of a cooler color. Just, you know, I'm just letting you guys know my thoughts. Dwayne is here. Welcome, Dwayne, for stopping by. Tom, it is always a good time. I'm telling you, honestly, I have a great time on these Wednesday live streams. All right, so I've got some color on this guy. He looks a little, quite frankly, out of sorts, right? That's kind of the way watercolors work. You start off, everything's great. The first 20% looks okay. Anything after that, up to about 80%, looks completely horrible, and then it all comes together right at the end. But starting to get, I can't go back into this quite yet. You're right. He's got, if you look at that reference photo, he's got kind of a line down the center of him. There, you might be able to see it a little bit better, kind of bisecting his body a little bit. I can't do that quite yet because, because it's damp, and I don't want to paint wet onto wet, make this giant back run. I think that is just not what I'm looking for. So we'll get that in a second or two. But we've got other things we can be doing. Let's see. So, body wet here, head wet here. I think I can get going on his pirate hat up here. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start, because I can go over with the darker color later, I'm going to start with the gold around the edge of this. And I don't have a real gold, but what I do have is yellow ochre, and that's, for this guy, is going to suffice plenty. So I'm just going to put a line of that on here, and if I go over the line a little bit, it's going to be okay, because it's going to be black coming in, or a dark anyways, coming in behind. And I am trying to think right now whether I want to do it in black. I'm not really sure I want to do it black, or if I want to kind of make my own dark color, which I've done plenty of times before, which actually is a kind of a fun experiment to do. JC says, the ugly phase is confusing to beginners. Sadly, many give up as they don't know that it's expected. That's true. I know when I first started, that was definitely true. I would do a painting and oh man, really? This is what it's looking like? This is horrible. Do I trust the process and try to keep going? Do I push through and hope it's going to get better? Or do I give up and try to start again? I don't think I totally gave up too many times, but I do know there definitely were times where I was a bit discouraged over the direction my paintings were taking. I think now, not so much. I don't worry about it so much anymore. I just jump in and go, and I think I've probably got enough experience. Whatever is going to happen with it, I can pretty much overcome it. But yeah, for beginners, novices, less experienced watercolor painters, that can be very daunting. It can be very daunting. JC, that's a fantastic point. All right, there's a little bit of color on his beak. I'm going to let that go. I got a little bit of a run here. Not going to sweat it all that much. He's mostly dry, just a tiny little bit damp. I do have the heater going in the studio right over there. And it should be drying the air out in here a little bit. So this is probably going to dry a little quicker than maybe I thought it would dry at the beginning of the day. I don't know if you can hear it if I kind of am quiet a little bit. I will bet you can hear some raindrops falling on the roof after 2 weeks of no rain. We're finally getting a little bit of rain. It's not much, it's a little bit. JC says, when I was a beginner, I had such a hard time with a painting in the ugly stage that I put it in timeout and faced it to the wall for a week. I was overwhelmed in my confusion. I hope it wasn't that bad. But that's funny. I don't know that my experience was quite that bad, but holy cow. Yeah, just a little damp there. And you can just see it's bled through. That water's bled through a little bit. This paper actually feels funny. This might be, I'm almost certain this is Arch's paper, but I'm feeling it, and it might be book. It might not be true watercolor paper. I have some paper that's a little odd. It doesn't have quite the sizing. It's got like half of the sizing on it as others, and that might be what this is. The size was perfect for this. I found it in my drawer of random watercolor papers. But we're going to make it work. We will make it work. I promise we're going to make it work. Everything's going to be all right. We just might have a little run here and there. It's all good. Let's see. Let's see. What has been going on in my neck of the woods? Oh, I hope. Oh, how can I not say? I hope everybody has had a wonderful Martin Luther King Jr. Day. And everybody, I'm sorry, and I hope everybody had was able to have a day off of work for that. Not everybody's in that position, but I hope everybody was able to rest and recuperate, relax, and enjoy a little time off for that. If you didn't do anything to celebrate Martin Luther King Jr., I celebrated by going fishing and calling my mother. All right, I didn't really celebrate by doing that. That's something I would do any day that I have off, or most days that I have off. It just happened that I did that on that day. Let's see. I'm going to paint his bandana here. What color should I paint his bandana? Should I make it red? Red would really stand out. Or I could do it blue, like is in that picture. Let's give him a bright red bandana. I like bright red. Let's go. Let's use my Pyrol red. That's a nice bright red. To give him a red bandana. I love red bandanas. Here we go. Let's do that. And I'm excited to announce this weekend. You all know I do a bit of fishing on the weekends. I'm going to do a little non-watercolor talk here. I do a little bit of fishing on the weekends. I've been known to throw a line in the water. I'm excited this weekend because a buddy of mine that I work with has agreed to come out and go fishing with me. It's always fun fishing with a friend. I've got no problem going out on my own, but it is nice when you have a friend join you to do some fishing. So he hasn't been out fishing for, I don't know, what do you say, 8 or 10 years, something like that. And he's excited to get back out and do some fishing. So I'm going to take him out and show him the spots that I normally go to. I'm looking forward to that this weekend. I hope the rest of you are going to get out and do something fun this coming weekend. And let's see, what else is going on here with me? I don't know when it happened. Did it happen this weekend? I'm not sure if it happened this weekend. Both baby girls, both little chickie girls, the little girls laid an egg on the same day, and that has now happened on 3 different days now. I think that is quite exciting. Not only does it mean they're growing up, but it means I get some nice fresh eggs. And boy, are they good. They are really good. So, does anybody else have any stories before I just go blathering on my own stories? Or do you want me to keep talking about things going on around here? Of which I'm happy to. All right, while I'm doing that, this is just a little Pyrol red. And I should say, if you guys want to see one of the projects I'm working on, I will be happy to show you it. It's a little different than this. It's a mashup that I'm working on. In fact, let me do that while this is drying. Let me grab it. I'll show it to you. Kenya, hello. Dwayne says possible ice storm. Wow. I hate to say it. I actually wish we were going to have an ice storm. When I was fishing last weekend, I was thinking to myself, it's mid-January, and I'm out in a t-shirt sweating while I'm fishing. It was too warm. So, all right, now everybody, don't laugh at this. Don't be disgusted by this. But I love doing mashups, and so this is what I'm starting on. Obviously, it's a truck with fat arms and hands for wheels. I think it's hysterical. I'm looking forward to finishing this. This is just a quick wash that's on here, but that's good. I've got some other ones like that I'm working on that are human body parts fused with mechanical parts. Let's see, what can I do? Oh, I can take a little bit of this yellow orangey color here. I can put some on his feet down here too while we're waiting. Waiting for this to dry, waiting for that to dry. Gonna figure out what we can paint while we're waiting for that to dry. And yes, this is a little light for his feet. JC says, how fun. You know what? The first thing I painted like that was a flamingo with human legs. And I looked at it so many times and just giggled. I was like, this is hysterical. I love painting this kind of thing. It just, it makes me laugh. And then I did a banana that was being unpeeled, right? A peeled or peeling banana that instead of having a banana come out of the peel, it was a duck's head or a goose's head that came out of the peel, and that was funny. And then I've done, I did the beetle, a beetle that was a VW beetle. It was a Hercules beetle that was a VW beetle. I did a cow in a Actually, I should have done a cow in a leather jacket, but I did a cow in a jean jacket. I did a catfish with a vacuum cleaner head. That was kind of fun. I did a taco cat. If you have ever played the game Exploding Kittens, which was a popular kids card game, one of the cards that you can play is a taco cat card. And I'm going to paint the taco cat, and I put that up in my office, and somebody loved it. I did a mallard duck that has a saguaro cactus for a neck. I don't know if I've talked about any of this before. I had a saguaro cactus for a neck. That was fun. So I've done a number of these, and I'm like, every time I do it, I just sit and look at it and giggle while I'm doing it, and it's a lot of fun. And then I'm like, well, I'm going to find another way to do some more of that. And so I'm moving into doing some of that. I'm happy to show you guys. I'm hoping you don't go, oh my God, that is so horrible. All right, so let's do this. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a piece of paper, a scrap piece of paper from down here. Come on, give me a scrap piece of paper. Okay. And I'm going to let that dry, and I'm going to do a little experiment to see if we should be making our own gray, or our own dark anyways. So I'm going to take ultramarine, and I'm going to take some of this azo orange, and I hope that's big enough you guys can see that. Let me pull that out a little bit. Azo orange, ultramarine blue. Maybe that's not the right color of blue to use. There you go. That's a little bigger. I think you can see that a little bit better. Azo orange, and that should make a dark. That's kind of a muddy dark. Let's see. Alizarin crimson. Actually, I should continue with that one and use a different blue. Alizarin crimson and phthalo green. This might be my favorite dark to make, but I don't know if penguins have any real green or if they have any real red on them. It might be a bit of a stretch to make. Probably if we throw a little bit of yellow in there, maybe a little bit of blue. Yeah, we get a nice dark in here now. Look at as it's coming down. Get a beautiful color down here. Let's see. Let me try phthalo blue. Phthalo blue is a beautiful blue. I love phthalo blue, but it's sometimes difficult to wrangle. And give me some more of this azo orange, and let's see if this makes a better dark color for us, or if this phthalo blue and maybe this gamboge would work. Nope, that's just going to make us a green. That's not orange enough. Yep, that's just going to make us a beautiful green color. Yep, like a distant hill green. And that makes us... So I wonder if I put just a little bit of the neutral tint in here, which is a little bit of purple on top of that. That gives us a nice color. Okay, I'm going to do that. This is phthalo blue. Phthalo blue with a little bit of orange and a little bit of neutral tint, and that's going to be the dark that we're going to start with. We might have to... Why not a dark purple? That might work. I don't have a dark purple. Let me grab my paper. I just threw it down here. Why not a dark purple? Let's see. So, dark purple. So dark purple, I can go this is maroon perylene, which is a sturdy red. And let's give this one a try with the phthalo blue. Let's see what it does. Come on, phthalo blue. Phthalo blue. This might be a little too brown, really. Alizarin crimson and phthalo blue. I'm pretty sure is going to give us a nice purple. You, JC, you love maroon perylene. I do. It's a wonderful color. Yeah, this is going to be the best purple I can make. Phthalo blue. I really like this purple. Phthalo blue and alizarin crimson. And look, it's a beautiful dark purple. Look at it as I pull that out. I'll hold it up. You guys can see. Look at that purple. But as I'm looking at it, right, this color, maybe even a bit of this color, I can justify as kind of kind of penguinish, right? I can justify that as a undercoat. I guess I could do that as an undercoat. But I'm concerned that the purples I'm going to make maybe just aren't the right color for what we would do here. This is going to be an even brighter purple. That's way too bright. Let's see. This is quinacridone rose. This is the color I have on here, and let's see what we get with. Yeah, these starting with this quinacridone is going to be way too light. So we love both of those. Are lovely color, absolutely beautiful colors. I love that. And this one is going to granulate out. You can already see it starting to granulate in there. It's lovely. Let's see if we do. I'm going to do a whole swatching sheet here now all of a sudden. This is, let's get some ultramarine in here. That's a darker purple. That's almost like a royal purple right there. Look at that purple. Lovely. What if we do that with a little bit of turquoise here? I'm just gonna. This is gonna be. I'm gonna forget all about the penguin now. I'm just gonna make some wonderful colors here. This is this is actually a fun thing to do. Ooh, this is interesting. I don't remember this, but that's kind of an interesting purple. It's a darker, muddier purple. That one is, look at that. Ooh, beautiful. Oh, some wonderful. Oh, God, I love that. That's spectacular. Oh, look at this. This is a darker, earthier kind of a purple here. This is alizarin crimson and turquoise. I'm going to see what maroon perylene and turquoise looks like. Because this maroon perylene, lovely color, almost has, it's like it's got a brown undertint to it, but it's got a bright red. Oh, now that might be the winner right there. If you're looking for an undertone, that totally might be the winner. Look at that's a lovely dark, and let's use that one instead. Kenya, you've convinced me. Look at that. Oh, that's fantastic. That's a dark color for penguins and hats and stuff. All right, that was maroon perylene. I'll put some of that over here. And turquoise. I'm going to mix that up. I don't want to mix it too much. Yeah, I do kind of want to mix it a lot. All right, and I'm going to paint his hat here a little bit. And if I stop talking, it's because I'm going to try to concentrate and paint around the skull and crossbones that's on his hat. But if I go over it a little bit, quite frankly, I'm not going to worry about it, because we can always come back with some white gouache or a white gel pen and pick it back up. And then if this is not, actually I got to pick that page back up again. I need to get that. It's 2 times I've thrown it down there. I'm going to have to pick it right back up again, because I want to see what putting one of these darks over top of it is going to do. Right? If I put black over top of this, what's it going to look like? If I put neutral tint over top of it, what's it going to look like? If I put sepia over top of it, what's it going to look like? All right, but as an underpainting, or the highlights, right? Because in essence, that's what we're painting here. You're painting what are going to be the highlights on your page. All right, get that first wash down there, and it's not, you're going to go over most of it again. But what you're going to be left with are a single layer wash, which is going to be the lightest area, i.e. probably the highlights on your page. So I got something on the tip of that brush. Let's do this right on around the skull and crossbones. Get a little more color in here. Let this go a little further. Now, I don't know if penguins actually make good pirates. I've seen them at the zoo, and they seem to have too much fun to actually be a good pirate, but I'm going to let this guy slide a little bit. I think the bandana does it for him. I think the bandana is what makes it for me, makes him look more pirate-ish. But I will admit, if I just saw this guy on the street, I don't know that I'd be too afraid of him. All right, I just looked up, and we got a few new people here. We got a few people in the audience that maybe I don't know who you are. I'm going to say, if you haven't been here before, reach out and say hello. I love talking to people. I love talking to new people. And this stream is always better if it's a conversation rather than a dialogue. So reach out and say hello. And if you've been watching for a little while and you like the stream, or even if you haven't been watching for a little while and you like the stream, reach out and hit that like button down there. That would really help me out. Meanwhile, I'm going to go back down here again. Hey, and get this sheet of paper. Oh, that is a lovely color on that hat. That's fantastic. I really like that. That is so much better than just grabbing a black or a gray or something like that. There is so much more life in that color than in any standard color around here. I'm going to do this. If we were to paint this, oops, I got a little blue in there. If we were to paint this Payne's Gray, come on, Payne's Gray, right? It's got that blue in it, boring. Neutral tint, probably the closest to what we've got going on there. Fantastic color, but not as a standalone. Let's run that into some sepia down here. Come on, sepia, work with me, right? We're going to look at these colors in relation to that in just a second. But where's the color we're working with? This one. I want to see if a little bit of that over top of it, or a little bit of that over top of it. Yeah, I think that neutral tint over top of it is going to go really well, or a little bit of just regular old black over the top of it. What's that going to look like? But do penguin pirates have parrots? Perhaps. Perhaps penguin pirates do have parrots, or parakeets, or peregrine falcons. I don't know. All right, look at that gray. Look at that gray. Look at the sepia as it goes in there, and then compare that to that color. This color looks so much nicer, and I just touched it. That color looks so much nicer than these other ones. I'm looking at this, and I like that neutral tint over top of it. I think it goes really nicely. Let me not put that down. Let me not throw that down there again this time. Okay, so I've painted what I can up here. What I need to do is, I'm going to mind my steps this time. I'm going to try to mind my steps this time. I'm gonna take a look at this and see, do I need to put any more shadow on him? Right, I've got a little bit here that probably I need to just level out. There's a bit of a tide line there, and I don't want a tide line. So I'm gonna see if I can just ease that out ever so slightly, because this is my opportunity. Once I start putting the black on here, or the dark on his body, then it makes it harder to go back in and put in any color or dimensionality. So I'm going to look at this, and I think I do. Oh, I'm really debating whether I want to put in, I don't think I want to put in that line that he's got on his body, bisecting his body. I'm looking at that. I'm not sure that we're going to gain a whole lot by having that there. Does it look okay on that reference photo? Absolutely. Does it really do anything for us in the broader scheme of this painting? I don't think it does. So I'm going to leave it off for the time being, but I am going to put in a little bit more, and that probably is a little darker than I really wanted it to be, and we'll fix that. But let's do one more effort at making some dimensionality on him here. This can come on down here a little bit, something like that. Nobody else who's here. We got a few people who've joined in. Really, I'm usually pretty nice. I don't pick on anybody all that much. I would just love to hear from you if you're willing. It's not a requirement by any stretch. But I think everybody here is pretty nice. Like I said, we got a few regulars that are here all the time. I'm sure they would love to say hello to everybody too. I know I would. I'm going to bring this on down. How about this? If you've got a penguin joke you want to say, we have a little bit of a history of telling really bad jokes here on this channel. And when I say really bad jokes, they're usually fantastic, just nobody ever laughs at them but me. And I'm not always the one that says the jokes. So there's that. But if you've got any really good bad jokes about penguins and you want to throw those out, or about pirates, let's not forget pirates. You can throw a pirate joke out there too. Let's talk about that. And this has gotten a little darker than I wanted, which is why I'm just going over it a little bit. I'm hoping to pick a little bit of that color up. It is going to lighten as it dries a little bit. This will be a good example of what happens when you're not paying too much attention and you mix your colors too thick a little bit. But I think that's okay, because look at it. I think his body looks better. He's got this lighter line here. Maybe I'll put a little bit of something in here, like this. It's not really homogeneous through there. I like that. It's lighter here. It gets darker as it goes that way. I'm liking it. I'm liking it. I'm liking it. And I need to remember which part of this is... Why did that get so dark so fast? Which part of this is supposed to be white, and which part of this is supposed to be our dark color? And put it on just about like that, and blend this all the way around that way. And there's a lot of this that's going to be really dark, and it's not going to matter all that much. So I'm not going to sweat too much of this. Yeah, all this in here, that's going to be dark. All this is going to be dark. It's going to be dark around there. I like it. I like it. I like the way it looks. Jesse Blue Jay says, penguin jokes never get old. They're timeless, like glaciers. Boom, boom, boom. I like it. I like it. That's a good one. That's a good one. See, that's the stuff we need. That's exactly the stuff we need. It's precisely the kind of stuff we need. Like glaciers. All right. So this is a little warmer of a color here, and I might have to put a bit of a glaze on some of this before we do our really darks. I think a darker color is going to help us out. Or I'm sorry, a warmer color is going to help us out. So like a really light glaze of a burnt umber. Burnt umber, I think, is going to help us there a little bit. And I'm going to make a little bit of this red here, and I'm going to drop just a little bit of blue in this because, and if I touch that, because I'm going to wait for a second. How's our hat? Our hat is better. Our hat is good up here. So I'm going to come up here, and I'm looking at our reference photo. All of this part, except for some over here, is going to get a second coat. So let's give a second coat onto here. This is going to look fantastic. This is going to look fantastic. This dark color, I'm really enjoying this dark color. Really nice, really nice, really nice. Does anybody have any art questions? No art questions. Got a decent crowd in here. Usually there are a few people who want to know about my art or about my art journey. or about why I would paint things like a pirate penguin. Why do penguins carry fish in their beaks? Why do penguins carry fish in their beaks? Let's see, because okay, I don't know. Why do penguins carry fish in their beaks? Did I have something in my hair? Why do fish? Oh my Lord, I can't. It's getting late. I'm tired. Why do penguins carry fish in their beaks? Kenya's always good for something like this. The answer is, drum roll, Wait, they don't have. Oh, they don't have pockets. Okay. All right. It's true. I think it's true. I haven't personally checked out any penguins. Come on, Dory. Go back over there. There you go. To know if they have any pockets or not, but I don't think I've ever seen any penguins putting things in their pockets. So I have to kind of agree with you on that one. Dory's keeping his eye on him. I like Dory. Dory's traveled a long way to come back home. There we go. Look, that kind of this more or less resembles that hat, right? Got a lighter spot there. Get some darker spots over here. We can actually go and make one more darker area over here if we need to. I might just even put one dark line maybe underneath where that stitching would be. Look at that, huh? Really make that stand out a little bit. All right. I'm not going to do any more. Dory, luckily, Dory, you're not big enough to eat this penguin, although you should probably be swimming away that way to get away. That penguin might eat you. You never know. You never know. All right. A little azo orange here. I don't think I'm going to get too crazy on this beak. It's a beak. It's a beak. It's a beak. It's a beak or a bill. JC. Oh, JC says, have you tried Golden's QOR Core Medium? I started to use it, and I can lift paint more easily, even bone dry with staining pigments. I have not. I don't have any watercolor medium that I've tried. I do like the Core paints, but I just haven't tried it. The only staining paints I use, and I don't lift all that much. The only staining paints I really use are the quinacridone. That's a little staining, but mostly it's the phthalos. I do really like using the phthalos, but those really are the only ones, and so I never really worried about it too much. So I wish I could answer that question for you, but unfortunately I haven't. There you go. Look at that. That's a nice looking color on that beak there. It's a beak. It's a beak. So, somebody tell me, is it a beak or is it a bill? Bills are on water birds, and a penguin is a water bird, but I don't think a penguin has a bill. I think a penguin has a beak. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how that works. Somebody. Kenya says, does Core Medium change the consistency of the paint much? If it's used undiluted, it would. I put 2 or 3 drops in 8 ounces of clear water. It's like magic for me, a game changer. Wow. Is it anything at all? It's not. I already know the answer. I already know the answer is no. I was going to say, is it anything at all like ox gall? And I know the answer is no before I even ask. Ox gall just makes your paints seem wetter, more wetter, right? They make your wet paints wetter. And that's not what you're saying is happening with the watercolor medium. The watercolor medium is making your paints less staining, more liftable, which is similar but not necessarily the same. If I'm thinking of it right. Let's see. JC says, looking good. The beak already has some interesting depth to it. Thank you. It's getting there. It'll get there. We'll get there. You know, it's going to look a little weird for a while, and then it's going to pop out of here, and we're going to go, well, that looks great. And I'm going to go, I meant to do that, whether I meant to do that or not. But it's gonna look good. I want this guy to look really good. I want this guy to look really good. I got a new coworker at work, and he's got his daughter comes to work with him. He comes to work with his daughter, and I've given her some watercolors. She already had some. Certainly didn't get her started on them, but I gave her some to play with here at work, and Dad has bought her some and whatnot. But they started watching me on Paint on Wednesdays, and so she knows that I'm painting a penguin, and so I want to do a really good job. So when I see her tomorrow, whenever the next time I'm going to see her is, I can say, "Did you see the penguin? I hope you liked the penguin." Because I do hope she really likes this penguin. He's going to be cute. He's going to be cute. There we go. So there's that. There's his bandana in shadow, or the start of it anyways. Got a bigger shadow there, and we'll come back and we'll put some more shadow on as we go along. And if that's in shadow, that's definitely in shadow. And I'm going to get to the chat here in just a second. Right, and that's a little bit of that blue and my red. And now, if anybody's wondering, and I always wondered this, and I've talked about this before. I've always wondered why, if you're just going to put this color on, and it's going to be this color, unless you want to, leave a little bit of it showing through, which I'm not really doing, quite honestly. Why wouldn't I just paint it that thick on the first go around, right? That's always a good question. It should always be a good question. It took me a while in practice to figure out why you do that. You put something on thicker, and it always comes out thicker, and it's thicker means, thicker means thicker. It's going to come off easier. It's gonna take longer to dry. You're gonna bump it. It's gonna, I don't know. It has a look. Some paints will get a really chalky look if you put it in thicker. You put it in a little thinner and a little thinner and a little thinner. If I had done this where I'm at right now in 3 layers or 4 layers, this would come out and have this great translucency that comes through it. The thinner you can get those layers, and the more layers you get on there, the more light penetrates down into the white of the paper below it. And it gives it that wonderful watercolor translucent quality. Let's see. JC says, Core Medium has Aquazol in it. It is some sort of polymer that keeps the paint from sinking into the paper fibers. That's why they also appear to be more vibrant. Okay, cool. Aquazol. Is Aquazol, do they use that in their paints too? I don't remember what they use in their paints. Art restoration people use Aquazol for museum art because it can be lifted if needed. Interesting. Can you say you're liking the penguin? The penguin is starting to look good. He's getting there. He's really getting there. I like the hat. I like the light spot. This definitely needs another layer on here now. It's dried and it's lightened, and you can actually see this lightening up as this is drying. It's just. I think when it dries, the paint pigments fall strangely into the pits in the paper, and that's part of what makes it lighter. Yes, Aquazol is key to core paints. Okay, there you go. Cool. Thank you for that. All right, so while I'm waiting for this to dry a little bit up there, we can grab some of our a little bit darker orange here and maybe give a little layer on these tootsies down here. All right, there might be a highlight on a toe or two here. Let's give him a little highlight on a toe or two. I haven't painted his nails in there yet. We'll get to those. We'll certainly get to those. And these will probably take one more layer, I would suspect, on top of what we have here to really add another element. One more layer on top, that wouldn't hurt anything. And of course, this foot is much more in the light, and so we definitely have to make sure that a lot of this foot can be seen, or these toes, I guess I should say, can be seen. There we go. All right, the only thing we're seeing, the dark here is where one toe rounds over, and so what the light part is the top of the toe that's in the light, and the dark there is everything else. I think that's one of the stranger things that we talk about in watercolors is painting things that are not light, right? I'm painting the shadow portion of this, right? Really? Why would you paint the shadow portion? And it's weird because our brains don't think in shadow colors. Our brains think in, light colors. So why wouldn't you just paint the light instead of painting the dark? Well, I would love to, but we can't paint the dark. Or can't paint the light. We try to preserve the light in watercolors. And that really is the best we can do, is to preserve that light color. Okay, I'm loving the bandana here. I like the bandana here. We've got some work to do up there. Right? His body is basically done in that. Look how much that lightened up all through here. That was so dark. So, quite frankly, it was a little bit darker than I really wanted it to be. But it's good now. It looks nice. And it has a bit of a ripply effect to it. There's a lighter spot here, a lighter spot there, lighter. We got a darker spot over here. That little shadow that's from his flipper. All of these help to build up some dimensionality on him a little bit. I think it's fantastic. We're almost to the point where we've got to start painting the rest of his body in this dark color. And I don't remember. What was my dark color? My dark color was... Help me out. Oh, it was maroon, perylene, and turquoise. That's got to be it. Yeah, that's got to be it. Okay, maroon, perylene, and turquoise. Maroon, perylene, a little turquoise. Got to remember what it is. There's a British watercolor teacher that calls having the whites reserved as trapping the light. that's a cool way to think of it. And I think that one thing alone is what makes so many people hate watercolors so much. Because none of us think that way naturally. I don't believe we think that way naturally. And I certainly think we've been taught since we've been little that you put some dark color on and you lighten it up. Everything from when you're in elementary school or junior high school, when you start with acrylics, paints, to everything else we do, you're free to put on as much dark as you want and then put light on over top, and everything's good except for it's not. All right, cool. Oh, okay. This is I'm stalling, I will admit. All right, here we go. Let's start giving him a little bit of definition here. Some of his feathers right up to that bandana line. Please tell me that's not wet. Okay. Cool. Let's pull it right on down. His flipper. There we are, and I will try. I don't know why, all of a sudden I'm like, I feel like I'm painting at a glacial pace. I should say I've used basically one brush this entire time. I just haven't felt the need to swap this one out at all. I think we've been doing pretty good with this one. Sometimes I really feel like changing brushes out helps a lot. Today, I haven't really felt like that. I felt like all I've needed was really this one brush and nothing more. Let's see, he's got a few little bits of dark right along here, just up that side. I know this flipper's got a little bit of dark on it. Let's see. Oh, Natalie's here. Let's see. JC says the dried area is showing beautiful velvety effect here. Some of it's starting to look so nice. Natalie, I'm glad you could make it, Natalie. Oh, that's a good looking arm. Cool. Now, quite honestly, I am I'm just let's go. I'm just gonna leave it like that. I'm just ever so nervous to flip this around and paint on this side. I guess everything up there is dry. Okay, I'm just gonna do it. I gotta get over it. Sounds like it's oh, you can hear it. It is raining here. And a light just went out in my studio. I'm hoping the computer doesn't go out. It is raining here. We had a rain 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and I thought we were probably done for the season, and it's just kind of spitting right now. It's not really rain. It's not what anybody else in the whole country would call rain. For California, it's a downpour, but it's just kind of a spitter. It's not much. Okay, I'm looking so that I know what has to be white and what has to be black up here. So that's, this bit is white, and that little bit above his eye over there. Everything else can be painted this dark color. So I'm going to start with this. And we're going to go from there. And I don't know how much more we're going to do with this dark on this guy. We're going to see how this dark comes out. If this is dark enough, we might leave this dark. Is my head in the way? I might leave this dark as being the darkest it's going to get, and then we'll, but regardless of that, we're going to do some more work on his bandana and his headband up here. But we'll see how dark of a color this guy needs to be the rest of the way. And so color here. You know, I was just thinking, I remember painting some birds and some other things, a cat and whatnot last year, and lamenting on here how much I hate painting things black. And it seems as though in the past 6 or 8 months, I've been painting so many things this dark color that I should almost be laughing at myself for saying stuff like that. It seems as though I must really like painting things black because I continue to do it. I don't know where that came from. I think what I don't like so much is using the color black. I think probably using a dark like this and mixing it myself is probably as good as I'm going to get with this. It leaves a lot more leaves a lot more to do. You can make colors a lot more lively than just using like lamp black or whatever the other black colors are. This is such a lively color. It's not really a black. I shouldn't even say that, but it's such a lively color. I'm so glad that you guys talked me into making this on my own. There he is. Oh, look, he looks like a pirate. he looks like a penguin. All right, actually using a black. God, if I could read. No, I'm not. Natalie. Cool. So these were my trials for the different colors, mixing of different colors. These are I'm going to say contrapositive. These are opposite colors, right? So blues and oranges. Oh my God, what did I use? Blues and oranges. Oh, blues and oranges here, reds and greens somewhere, and then I think Kenya had the idea of making it a purple, but there's so many different pigments in the maroon perylene and turquoise, whatever they are, I don't know. Right, maroon, perylene. Compliment. Did I just go out? It looks like my internet just blipped out. Did I just go off air for a moment? I just looked up and I didn't see anything in my YouTube window. Anyway, these are the two that I've used to make But yes, complementary colors. Let's see. I usually mix my. I'm back. I did go out. I blipped. Wow. Maybe I should pick up the pace a little bit. I think the purple idea was JC. Oh, JC. I'm sorry. Yes, it was JC's idea. But Natalie, you said I usually mix my darkest from UM and burnt sienna called Jane's Gray. Jane's Gray. Jane's Gray is a warmer gray, right? I believe Jane's Gray is a warm gray. I think Jane's Gray is a warm. It's got to be a warm gray. Payne's Gray is a cold gray, and Jane's Gray is a warm gray. I'm going to cool this down up underneath his. I almost called this an armpit. His wing pit. Up there a little bit. He's got a cool wing pit. Is that a thing? I don't know if a wing pit is a thing. Natalie, do you have any penguin jokes? Just if you've got some penguin jokes, feel free to throw them out there. But I think he's really starting to look good. I'm so happy with the way he's looking. Look, that beak just pops off of there. I think we're going to have some extra to do. In fact, I should see if I can pull a little bit of this out. I think I wasn't quite paying attention. Pull a little bit of this color out of here. Where it's, maybe in a little bit of a lighter area here where he's getting some sun on his face. Let's see if I can just pull a little bit of that color out. And there we go. So there we go. That looks better. That's lighter. That's lighter. And maybe we'll put in a little darker in a couple of areas over here. But I think we're headed in the right direction. We're totally headed in the right direction. You can ultramarine. Okay, Natalie says usually you make your ultramarine and burnt sienna. Ultramarine and burnt sienna. That's a good one too. I don't have burnt sienna. Burnt sienna is a little redder, but burnt umber and ultramarine. Also makes a nice gray. Look at that. That's a nice gray. Oh, look at that. Lovely. Why did I do that? I could have just done that and been done with it. No. Because you know what? He looks fantastic the way he is. Look, he's got some piratitude for sure. All right. Let's see. Pyro red. A little bit of ultramarine in here. Just going to add a couple of lines. Right, he's got to have that tied up there a little bit. This is going to dry, and this is going to look really nice up here. I know it is. He's got that tied, so he's got to have a line or two in here to show that it's tied. We're going to do the same thing here. Come on, give me some of this color. There we go. Dilute that just a little bit. Okay. So here we go. We don't need too much here. We've already got all of our underpainting, and that's really going to help quite a bit. But where there's some big creases in there, we want to make sure that we get these in there. There's one. There's one. Those come all the way up to the end. Yeah, look at that. I like that. I like that. I don't. I have such an issue, and it's a me thing. It's totally a me thing. I have such an issue with leaving hard lines But in this instance with big creases in a bandana, I think a hard line is justified. Maybe there's another one right there. And I don't want to smooth these out really. I want to leave this as a nice hard edge down there, so it really looks like there's some big creases in there. All right, I hope that makes sense. I really hope that makes sense. I'm going to take some of our dark color here, and I'm going to add it to. I'm going to try to do this with a little deft. Bit of a deft hand. There we go. We've just separated the top of his beak from the bottom of his beak. We don't need a whole lot more than that. I'm going to give him a little nostril right there. Now, his eye. I am going to use black on his eye. I want his eye to be distinctly different than the other colors around there. Right, and I think this is lamp black. I think that's lamp black. I don't even know where my color card is to know what color black this is. I'm trying to look to see where I might have put it. I don't know. All right, I think it's lamp black. But regardless, I'm going to try not to put it in a super dark fashion. Right, I'm going to put it in just enough. Come on, that's a small area. Just enough that we can go back and add to it if we need to. Right, we need another layer of this black on there. I tell you, I do need some more black on here. And if we need to put a highlight on, we'll do a highlight with a gel pen at the end. Highlights are tough. I'm painting in a small area and I don't see all that well anyways. So it's a little tough. But there we got some eyes. I think they're sticking out there quite nicely. There we go. And we're going to let those be. And I'm going to be brave. And I'm going to give one more coat to his hat. And I'm going to do everything back here over to about right here. And just make that a bit darker. All right, everything from the pirate over. And yes, I'm looking at it. I realize that the pirate needs some help too. We're going to get the pirate a little bit of help. Turquoise. Let's use turquoise. There we go. Everybody's still here. Everybody's still here? Okay. I don't know. I haven't looked at the numbers. I know we've got a few people here tonight. And I want to thank you all for joining me. If you would, hit the old like button down below. If you would. And you can hit the subscribe button too. That'd be awesome. Since I've got a few people in the crowd, I do this every Wednesday, 7 o'clock Pacific. If you hit the subscribe button, you'll probably get a notification that tells you when my video is going to come out. I usually decide on something earlier in the week. Sometimes I don't always get around to setting up the stream or whatnot until a little bit later. I'll take the fault for that, but if you like this and you want to come back, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe buttons, and that will get you a notification of my next one. I'll give you a little reminder there. But like I said, I do this every Wednesday at 7 o'clock Pacific. I guess that's 8 Mountain, 9 Central and 10 Eastern time zones. If you're watching from the continental United States, I know it's not really math, but it feels like math. It's not really math, but it's kind of math. Quickly done in my head there. And I would love to have everybody come back and watch another one of these or participate in one of these. If you have any ideas of something you might like to see done, then throw that down in the chat down below. That'd be awesome. Give me some ideas of what people might like to see, and oftentimes I'll give it a try. I like to be challenged with different things. Oh, a nice dark pirate hat there. Arr. You know what? I should have given it. He should have had an eye patch on, shouldn't he? I think that's a major misgiving on my part. He should have had an eye patch. Okay, that's okay. That's okay. No eye patch, no problem. Oh, we got a little bit to do on his feet down here yet. All right. That's okay. Watch, I'm gonna get a smaller brush here. This will be easier. I am gonna switch up brushes right now. This will be a little easier with a little smaller brush. Give me something that's a little pinkier. I don't know. This will be fine. This will be fine. I feel like I got way too much paint on there. I do. A couple little lines on his feet to give some indication of some roundness. I don't know. Something like this. I think this one didn't get quite right. You know what? Let me give it a little bit more color on the side of this. A little bit more here. A little bit more there. I think that'll make that look a little better. I think that's a lot better. It makes his feet stand out a little bit more. A little bit of extra color there. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot more. That helps his feet quite a bit. There's some extra color on there. Extra foot color. Cool. All right. Let's see. Toenails. Painting, what I'm doing is I'm painting kind of the outside of the toenails and then blending that in a little bit, hoping that that's going to blend some of that color in and make it not quite so black. If you just take the black and go black straight across, you get black straight across. I'm not sure I want black straight across like that. So if I kind of outline the toes a little bit and then fill in the middle with a little water or at least a lighter mixture, you can get a little better range of values, and sometimes it'll leave you a little highlight there too. I don't know. Okay, let's see. Let me go back to a little bigger brush, and I need a little bit more paint. I need to make some definition on his arm here. Right? That sounds a weird thing to do, but I can't leave his arm. I'm just going to keep right on painting and right on talking here. I'm going to keep going until the internet shuts me down. So I can't do it without making a break between what's on that flipper, what's, that what's flipper and what's body here. And so I'm just going to take ever so slight amount of color here, and I'm going to blend that way out, but it should just allow me to make that differentiation. Okay. And then, and this can be carried on down a little bit. Sure, this can be carried on down here if we need it to. That's okay. And then the other thing I'm going to do on this is I'm going to, upside down, of course. Yeah, how about this way? I'm going to put some extra color on the back side of that flipper. I'll take it all the way up to his shoulder up here. That's fine. And I'm going to blend that forward a little bit, if that makes any sense. I'm going to let that color come this way. And so I should have a couple of very simple graded washes there, but it should give quite a bit of definition to it. It's a quite a bit of definition with doing almost no work, which is a really good thing. We don't want to have to force this paint to do anything, but if you give it a gentle nudge like that, you can see there's a gradation from back there to forward and from there forward, and we've just broken up the difference between his wing and his body. Perfect. Wonderful. Love it. Absolutely love it. Simple, easy, nothing to it. I'm going to give him a little bit of a shadow under here. Maybe he's going to come this way. I'm hoping the shadow is going to be much lighter than his body, and I'm going to actually throw some of this orange in that shadow. So I want that to be a little bit of reflected light in there. Give me a little bit of orange over here, reflected light. There's his shadow. Now my wife can't tell me he's floating in air when she sees this later, because he's not strictly floating. He's standing on something. He's probably standing on a white sheet here, but that's okay. That's allowed. Let's give him, I don't know, something like that. There you go. Oh, it actually does. That kind of does seat him in there a little bit, doesn't it? It does. It seats him right in there. And it makes him look like he is standing on something white. I'm going to take that all the way to the edge. That'll bug me. There you go. Yeah, wow, it really does. Okay. All right. Natalie says, hooray, you're working on your shadows. It's not really much of a shadow, if we're being honest about it. It's not much of a shadow. I don't know that deserves an hooray. But what's going to deserve an hooray is when we get this color in. He's gonna really start to pop off of here, and he's gonna look so much nicer. Look, I'm not gonna take that all the way up there because he's gonna have more depth, more dark, right? I sometimes always talk about making your darks darker and your lights lighter. And if I go away with this dark just being middle dark, then I haven't done enough on this painting. This dark right here, this layer is really going to help this penguin. It's really going to help him out. That dark needs to be dark. That light needs to be light. There, look. Oh, he looks so much better. That dark is dark. That dark is so nice. God, this gray is so... Who was this? Who was it told me to make this? JC? Was that you? The purple idea was JC. Okay, JC, it's your fault this is looking nice. I'm blaming you. But what I am going to do... is I'm going to attempt to screw this whole thing up. I really am going to attempt to screw this whole thing up. I'm going to make a nice soupy wash here. And you see the color of this flipper? It's not anywhere close to the color of this. I'm going to glaze this with this really light wash to give him a bit of a warmer color. I'm not trying to add really anything to it other than just to warm it up this little bit. That's all I want to do, is just make this a slightly warmer color. It doesn't even need to be that much warmer. It just needs to not be so blue, so cold. Right, just that little bit warmer. Clean water here. Clean water, I said. There we go. So I don't think that did much of anything other than, if I'm being honest, the only thing that did was make that not quite so cold. And I'd be happy to do that up there, but I've got an eyeball that's wet, and I've got a head that's wet, and I can't do anything with either of them. What I can do is hurry the process along, because I do have one of these. So, the shading on the hat and the drying, it's nice. It's really nice, right? Let me, because I don't want to blast any of your ears out any more than my talking does, let me put you on mute for a second, and I'm going to see if I can dry his head real quick. Okay, cool. So let's do this, because that gave him a wonderful color. Wonderful color. Nice, nice and warm. I can't have it down there and not up here. So let's see if we can do this without getting it too much into the black that's there, or that dark. And this should help him to match a little bit, I guess. I'm going to take a little bit off right there. All right, cool. That's so good. It's so good. Where's my gel pen? I want to give him... couple of dots in his eye there. Oh, we're getting so close. So close. I want to... Get a little bit of a slightly different color on the bottom of his beak. Did we determine if this is a beak or bill? It's got to be a beak, right? It's got to be a beak. Has to be a beak. It can't be a bill. I don't know. I don't know how that whole thing works. Oh, and you know what we need to do? We've got a pirate we need to do a little bit of work on up here. Let's get black. Is this my smallest brush? This is probably... This one would probably be my smallest brush. Let's see what we can do here. Well, this is nice stiff bristles on here too. This is probably the worst Jolly Roger anybody has ever seen. And that's okay. You know, I happen to know that he picked this hat up at a thrift store anyways. Penguins have bills. It is a bill. So water birds have bills. A penguin is a water bird, so therefore it is a bill. Okay. So I said it right when I questioned myself about it. I just didn't believe myself and so got it wrong. That's all right. It's a bill. Water birds have bills. Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know about that hat. But like I said, I happen to know he got it at a thrift store anyways, and the thrift store really wasn't that good of a thrift store. I wouldn't go back. I wouldn't go back if I were him. But that's a him thing. That's not a me thing, right? Okay, so I'm looking at this. I actually really like this. I'm tickled to death with the way this looks. I think it's fantastic. I really like him. I say him. I don't know if it's a him penguin. I guess they have... Well, I'm sure they have boys and girls penguins. I'm sure they have boys and girl pirates too, right? Must have boys and girl pirates. And boys and girl pirate parrots. Pirate penguins. Oh my gosh. I can't speak. Oh, I know what I was going to do. I was going to do one other thing here, which was... Give me just a little bit of color here because I want to just and this is probably not really even needed, but he's got a little differentiation there between his leg and his body a little bit, and like I said, I probably didn't need it. I have it drawn on there, and if I don't do it because I've specifically drawn it, then I'm going to kind of make myself nuts about it. But I probably didn't need it, but I got it there now anyways. Okay, I think that's about all I've got for this one. Unless anybody sees anything glaring that I have missed. Speak now or forever hold your peace. I think he looks fantastic. All right, I'm gonna sign my name on this one. That means we're getting close to being done. This penguin is fun. Thank you, Kenya. JC says turned out great. Natalie says adorable. Thank you all. I love the bill. I like the hat. I can't stop. Hang on one second. Hang on. We got to do this. The hat's all wrong. I mean, the hat's partially wrong. The hat's not all wrong. The hat's partially wrong. You know what we need on the hat? Darker hat. Right? This gold is gold, but this gold also is in shadow. So you can't have the same gold all the way around, or that gold is no longer gold. It's just a weird thing. And so I'm going to make that dark. All the way up here. Let's see. This is going to come all the way up here. If I had looked at this tomorrow and not done anything to fix that, I would have looked back on this and gone, what seriously, what am I doing here? Let's see, this can come up a little further. And then, you know what, I'm going to give it a little dark right there too, just for the fun of it. This is going to lighten as it comes forward. And this is going to lighten a little bit. And now I guess, what do you call that? The piping around his hat. More matches. Now, more matches what the hat really is there. Okay, that makes me feel better. Oh, looks good down there. Looks good over here, too. Darker, lighter up here. It can go even lighter here, I guess. Pull that totally off. There you go. All right, that makes me feel better. Okay. Whew. And with that, I am going to call it done. Thank you all so much. He's cute. He's adorable. Thank you all for joining me here to make my Wednesday fantastic. This really is, I say this all the time, this is the highlight of my Wednesdays, to come here, sit down with some friends and do a painting and just talk about whatever. I think this guy turned out great. You guys helped it turn out that way. I want to thank you for joining me. I hope you have a great rest of your evening. I hope you have a great rest of your week. And I hope you're able to join me back here again next week when we do this whole thing all over again. Until then, thank you all so much. Bye-bye. Where's my camera? Bye-bye.